Paper was like gold in medieval times.
Oh, not tobacco. Sugar.
That everything we thought we knew about the world might turn out to be completely wrong.
Tonight on the House of Tiny Tearaways.
What does that make Kira feel like?
Sad.
I wish she didn't have it, because just it would be so much easier for her.
It's the beginning of yet another challenging week at the House of Tiny Tearaways. 3 new families and some very complex problems for Tanya to tackle. 3 desperate families, each overwhelmed by parenting problems that have turned their children into tearaways.
No, don't you bite me!
They're going to be living here for just 6 days in the hope that they can turn their lives around forever. The person they're looking to for the answers is clinical psychologist Dr. Tanya Byron.
Working with 3 families in such an intense environment is unlike anything I've ever done professionally before, and it is a huge challenge. I'm working with the parents, I'm working with their children, and I'm building a community. It's a tough job to do in a very, very short space of time.
And for the families selected to be part of this unique programme, this is make or break. This is the House of Tiny Tearaways. It's breakfast time for Bridget, Scott and her 3-year-old daughter, Erin.
Can I give it a stir? Like this. Do you want to give it a try? Oh, grumpy kills.
Single mum Bridget faces a daily battle of wills to get her 3-year-old daughter Erin to eat anything other than porridge with fruit puree. Although she has the support of her 6-year-old son Tyler, Bridget is still coming to terms with her daughter's Down syndrome.
She won't be accepted.
And the world will judge her.
Because of what she looks like. Just one.
No.
Erin? It's the same as you always have.
No.
Look.
No. And you don't want to eat it. You're so hungry. Come on, baby. Eat.
You try
Don't come with me, Sophie.
We'll try later on.
We're going to this one.
Do you want to have roast or Bridget? Do you want coffee?
After one day, Tanya is keen to get cracking with the McLeod family and understand why the relationship between mum Paula and her daughter Kira is so fraught.
Sometimes you feel cross, don't you? Yes?
6-year-old Kira McLeod is making her mum Paula's home life a misery. 2 years after the breakup of her parents' marriage, 6-year-old Kira is causing mayhem. When she gets bored of hitting, Kira switches to other ways of being cruel to her mother.
No, don't you bite me!
However, Kira's behaviour improves dramatically whenever Dad Craig, Paula's ex-husband, comes to visit, leaving Mum feeling even worse. After only one day, Kira has caused bedlam for her mother, and last night she threw a massive tantrum, which drove her mother to despair.
Stupid bloody mouth.
And don't cry.
To help Tanya understand Kira's perceptions of how her family may be feeling, she has an activity for the McLeods.
What's this in here? This is to do now. This is a special thing to do now. What does that look like?
Play-Doh.
It's clay. Smell it. Ooh. What I'd like you to do, you remember you drew me that fantastic picture of your family yesterday? And you put them in a line. Could you make them with Mummy? Could you make lots of little people and make me your family and put them in a line? I'll get you a board to put them on. And then we've got some things here. For each person, or for anybody there, if you think that person is sad, you can stick a tear in the top of them. So that's for sad, yeah? That's for grumpy, yeah? That's for, what do you think that's for?
Happy.
Happy, good girl. And we've also got some words here. So who's the person in the family that says, I'm cross? Who's the person that says, I don't understand? Who's the person that says, I love you?
Love you.
Who's the person that says, I'm happy?
Happy.
Do you understand what I'm trying to do here? So she was really good with that drawing yesterday, so I feel this is a bit of an extension on that.
Right.
We need every member of the family that she wants to put in.
Okay,
And you need,
so I let Kira take the lead.
absolutely take the lead, but you help her with the modelling.
Yeah, sure.
And she puts them where she wants to, so who is standing next to who, because that's quite interesting. And if she wants to use some of these, then she can. It's entirely up to her. Does that sound like a nice game?
Yes.
Can you understand them?
To see them.
And can you understand the sort of method behind it?
Yes.
Excellent. Good girl. Good girl.
Go, go.
Although Tanya has asked Kira to work on her clay models, Kira has got wind of something she'd rather play with.
But I'm just gonna have a pee. Sorry about that.
Kira, come and do this activity with me.
Sorry, I just needed to pee.
So I didn't get
Paula
much
and
sleep,
Bridget
but
are
then I'm used to
comparing
having
notes on their day so
revision.
far.
I live on very little sleep.
Oh, do you? I'm a real sleep monster.
But then
I need loads.
That's why I think that I'm a bit temperamental, you know, because I don't get enough sleep. So, are you sure you're alright?
Yeah.
Why don't
Yeah, she wouldn't need to talk this morning. That's 3 meals now that she hasn't had anything to eat.
No.
go?
And she's really pissed off with me.
Hey, you. Hey, you. Come here. Can I
I'm just going to pop to the loo. I won't be there 2 minutes.
It's going to be hard to do it without
my nails?
She's what?
Come in.
Hey,
Morning.
sweetie. Yeah, let me sit down. Can I move this stuff?
Yeah.
Gosh. I feel like you've just fallen really hard, bang, onto the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, now, it seems to me that this whole, just coming in, only 24 hours, and it feels like everything is up in the air for you.
It does. Coming here has given me time to think about how I feel, you know, whereas I haven't had that time before. So.
And how do you feel?
It just brings it all back about how I'm just so pissed off that she has Down syndrome. I just wish she didn't have it. And I know I'm not supposed to say that.
You can say what you want.
I wish she didn't have it.
Because
Just it would be so much easier for her.
do you feel,
It's going to suck when she's a teenager, it really is.
who's it going to suck for her?
She just won't be the same as everybody else. I had such a wonderful time at high school. You know, I was a prom queen and just so popular and everything, and it's just not. And that was so nice. Those were the best years. But she's not going to have that.
But are you comparing her life from the standpoint of what you had, or is it
Yeah.
not possible for there to be adults with Down syndrome who lead happy and fulfilled lives?
Oh, there are. I just I think that she will be happy once she's an adult. I'm just not. You know, I just think life would be a lot easier for her if she didn't have Downs.
If you could wave a magic wand and change her, would you? Take it away.
I think I would. Yeah. She'd be clever. She'd have all the tools required to be successful. Because that bugs me as well, that she won't be bright. Tyler's in the top stream in his class, and according to his teacher, the brightest in the class. And I know that when Erin starts school, we'll have to deal with the bottom feeders.
I guess the kind of challenge is to look at living in a world where you don't define yourself or define her by what other people think of her.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But you're very angry.
Yeah, well, I just wish it hadn't happened, you know.
But it feels to me you struggle to just accept her for who she is.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Erin, I think, is, and you're going to, I'm bracing myself for you to slap me hard in the face. Erin, I think, is possibly the best thing that could have ever happened to you, because I think she challenges you on so many levels, that she has given you an opportunity just to broaden your view of the world, broaden your view of life.
Yeah, but I'm not ready to slap you, because within a couple of weeks of her being born, I said to my dad, God either has a very sick sense of humour or he's the wisest person, because this is what I needed. I said, because I've learnt tolerance now on a different level, because I was so intolerant of people that were not perfect. Erin has really, really taught me to view other people in a much more tolerant light. I was sizist, ageist, sexist, she's taught me a huge amount.
Does it feel comfortable for you to kind of get your head around the fact that Erin has a feeding problem because of the mechanics of feeding, that she's just not been taught to feed herself, so we can try and start that process? Because for her, there are extra challenges.
I'm already resisting that in my head. I don't even like to hear that said.
I guess it doesn't surprise me that you've got so locked into feeding. But I think we need to agree, as far as food goes, she's not going to be eating sandwiches and chips by the end of the week.
No,
she might be self-feeding if we're lucky.
Yeah,
but I
grand.
think the smallest change for Erin and for you this week will be a huge event.
Yeah. Feed this doll, she's hungry. Oh, you're such a good mummy.
Erin Scott came in here with quite a severe eating problem, and today she decided not to eat breakfast, which upset Mum Bridget quite a lot. What did you learn from her chat?
I think Bridget's an amazing woman. There's a big history behind Erin's birth, both personally in terms of Bridget's own feelings about disability. Prior to having Erin, her feeling when she gave birth to Erin, she didn't know Erin was going to have Down syndrome, and also subsequently her husband leaving. I also think Bridget has just got her head down and tried to get through Erin's development in a very sort of systematic, logical way, because she wants her little girl to be the best she possibly can, which every mother would feel. However, I think there is a lack of understanding, not intellectually but emotionally, about who Erin is as a child, as an individual, without Downs and with Downs. And I think that is what Bridget is on a journey to find out in this house. So actually not eating breakfast, and she also didn't eat supper, for Bridget seems quite positive, because I think she can see that the whole routine and mechanical process of feeding that she has locked Erin into is now beginning to change.
What is Down syndrome, and how does it affect those skills that you just mentioned?
We all have 23 pairs of chromosomes, and they are the packages that genes are carried in, the chromosomes are. And people with Down syndromes have an extra chromosome number 21. It causes a range of developmental delays, which will then have an impact on learning and development. There are about 60,000 people with Down syndrome in this country, and about 1 in 750 children born worldwide will be born with Down syndrome. One of the challenges for a child with Down syndrome, and I can see this with Erin already, is doing a lot of exercises for the musculature of the mouth. And because Bridget has locked Erin into this way of feeding, which is same bowl, same spoon, same food, mummy feeds, Erin's never had to learn to bite, chew or swallow. So we're not just looking at a willful child who's saying no, we're looking at a child who actually doesn't understand the process of putting something into her mouth and biting and chewing and swallowing. Because she really cannot self-feed, I think just to help her use a spoon and understand that she herself can put a spoon in her mouth will be a huge gain. This is
Outside in the
Sophie.
garden, Tanya has a surprise for the Fallon family and their animal-phobic daughter, Emma.
Hello, thank you for coming.
Sue and Mike Fallon have come to the house of Tiny Tearaways because their 4.5-year-old daughter, Emma, has an intense fear of animals. If she's exposed to them in any way, she becomes highly anxious and distressed. It's affecting the family as it's becoming increasingly difficult for Emma to leave the house with any confidence. Yesterday, Sue admitted that she herself has a fear of dogs in an emotional consultation with Tanya. And Emma was given the opportunity to acquaint herself with some furry friends with only limited success.
It's all right. Where are we on the traffic light?
Yesterday, Tanya taught Emma a breathing technique to use when near animals.
Which colour?
A traffic light symbolises how anxious she feels, and if she's at red, Emma controls her breathing and pretends to blow out candles to get her down to amber or green.
What's the bunny called?
Flopsy.
This is Flopsy. Flopsy, this is Emma. Come and stand here, sweetie, where I'm standing. It's all right. What colour are you feeling now?
Still green.
Good girl. So you can come and stand here, can't you?
Come on, Sophie.
Good girl, Emma. And you show Sophie, because you're the big sister, how we stroke Flopsy. Good girl. Good girl. What colour?
Oh, don't.
What colour are we feeling now? Well, you see, I think that makes you very brave, actually. Right, now, are we allowed to come in? Yeah. Great, so I'll come in first. You hold your traffic lights. Where are you on your traffic lights now, thinking about coming in here?
Yellow.
Yellow. So what do?
We
blow out our...
candles.
Ready? We'll do it together, all of us. Very good. Can you climb up here like a big girl? Look at you. And in we come. Good girl. Now we're inside. Which colour are we now? You point. You look at my traffic lights. Green. Wow, he's quite still. Shall we go and say hello to him? What colour are you feeling now? Yellow. What do?
We blow out the candle.
Get that fizzy out of your tummy. Good girl. Right, we've done that. So we'll walk over here and we'll say hello.
It's a nice stroke.
Yes, you can stroke. Let's have a look.
Pick a guinea pig up, girl. Let's see the straight one.
No,
Try and catch
it's all
one
right.
first.
That's okay.
Find off.
No, we're fine. Look. Hello.
Right, 3
We're
seconds.
just going to stay with the movement for a minute.
Yeah.
Good girl. You look after your little sister. You help her. There you go.
He's having a
Hello, Speedy.
Hey,
Go a little bit closer, darling, and say hello, Speedy.
Little girl wants to go.
Speedy.
Now, I'm going to go and observe this because I'd need to. Are you okay to stay in the rain? Yeah. I need to see the two of you doing a lot of this, but quite assertively keeping her in the place. Use the traffic lights. She can do the blowing, and there's lots of different things you can explore. All right then. Wow.
Come on,
I'm going to be back in a minute, Emma.
Quickly.
Should we come sit down here? Bit wet, but it doesn't matter.
Well, you have to do the spider, can't it?
I'm going to put it on Mummy's lap because Mummy might want the guinea pig.
How does it make you feel? How does it make
He's
you
a bit
feel?
wet first.
Okay, don't worry. How does it make you feel? Come on, let's have it on.
How it makes you feel.
Tell me. Because then we can do our breathing. No, we can do our breathing, can't we? How does it make you feel? Tell me. How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? I can't hear you.
Yeah, go on, you start.
How does it make you feel?
What, Emma?
How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? Should we do some breathing? Blow it away. Blow the fizzy away. Blow away the fizzy. I've only got you around the side. How does it make you feel? How does it make you feel? Oh, how does it make you feel? Tell me. Being very brave. Is it green? Yeah?
Who are we going to see? That one.
Wow. You clever sticks.
Down the tunnel.
I thought what was interesting is Emma wanted to do well for you, so she was very pleased when she was like, pointing at green. Will she do the same with her parents?
I think what I've noticed already since I've left is that she's become more anxious.
Yeah.
And that's because she is conditioned to believe that when she's with her parents, it is all about anxiety. But already Sue has quite a high-pitched voice. It's okay, it's okay. Yeah. And that response in itself signals to a child it's not okay. So it's about just helping them just to be completely chilled, that this is as natural for them as sitting down with a cup of tea watching a nice film together as a family.
Okay. All right then, if I just move him over just a little bit. Come here, sweetheart. I know you're comfortable there, but look, I just move him there. Right, you sit on this. Can you sit on this leg? Go on then, you sit on this leg. Go on then. You sit on this leg. Fantastic. How do you feel now?
Green.
Green, do you?
No, yellow.
Okay, well what do we do when it's yellow to get rid of that fizzy?
Blow out the
Go on then,
colours.
should we blow them out then? Has it gone now? Has the fizzy gone? So...
No,
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 no, it's okay. He's turned round to have a look at you. He's turned round to have a look at you, hasn't he? Nothing's happening. He's the most sweetest little guinea pig. Nothing's happening, is it? How do you feel now? How do you feel?
Red.
Red, okay, so we need to blow out some candles, don't we? You want to blow some candles out for me? Look, he's having a little sniff of your coat.
I don't even feel it.
You didn't feel it, no? He's so sweet.
Oh look, there's a little puppies there.
Well done.
You could give it to him, couldn't you?
Yeah.
At breakfast, 3-year-old Erin Scott refused yet again to eat her usual porridge oats and fruit puree. She hasn't eaten properly for almost 24 hours now, causing her mum Bridget a great deal of concern.
So I'm getting a bit irritated with you, okay, because I want her to eat these crisps. Okay?
Erin is sitting with a packet of crisps at the table, licking them.
Seems quite happy, doesn't she?
Very happy. Now this is interesting because what this absolutely unequivocally shows is that this child is okay with the taste, is okay with self-feeding when that bowl and that spoon are nowhere near her, is okay with the concept of putting food into her mouth and licking her fingers, but cannot bite and chew.
Oh, I see.
She cannot bite and chew. But if you look at her mouth, what you're getting is a lot of tongue movement.
To take the flavour off.
And sucking, which is very much bottle.
And she can't bite and chew because the muscles haven't formed, because she's never used those muscles.
The muscles are there, but they are just much more lax than it would be in a child who doesn't have Down syndrome. Also, she's not as verbal as a 3-year-old who doesn't have Down syndrome, and being verbal means a mouth movement, and mouth movement means use of muscles that are used in feeding. But this is a really interesting point, and why I love Bridget Scott is that she is just chilling and doing everything she can to give her daughter some different experiences out of the routine, and Erin seems to be just doing quite fine. You see it?
She seems really happy.
It would be so nice to go and do some work with her now, but I feel conflicted. Let me just go in quickly. Hello.
Hello.
How's lunch going? I'm very fascinated by this. Fascinated by what's happening here.
She will normally sit and eat crisps.
Mm-hmm. Suck
them, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Hopefully at some point, maybe she'll
bite.
Mm.
She doesn't know how to bite. I've been noticing this. Are these mine? Yummy, yum.
You eat them, not me. I like the system. You've been red carded, Paula.
No, I'm gonna be the second one to finish.
Giving him a tin of tomato soup, but he likes it so much.
Peter loves oxtail soup.
Oh right, okay.
So she'll probably have.
Excuse my ignorance, but is it actual oxtails?
Do you know what? I haven't a clue.
I don't know if it's just like a flavour.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know.
Good girl.
Have you been helping yourself to stickers?
Look. What's that? Should we come and see her? Good girl. Oh. Erin. Good girl, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Ow! A little bit of work around biting here. Try not to take any notice. Well done. Can we do a lot of biting today? Yeah. A lot of biting fingers, a lot of biting. I'm going to get some chew toys, lots of. Okay. Show mummy. Ow! No, actually quite ow. You do have quite a good bite on you there.
Whilst a 6-year-old daughter Kira and 2.5-year-old son Aaron are being looked after by the other parents, Paula McLeod joins Tanya in the consultation room
some things
for
I
their
wanted
first
to talk
chat
to you
of the day.
about. But I just wanted to find out how you're doing, how you're feeling, and get a bit more background to things, really.
Yesterday was one of the toughest days so far, so yeah.
Because, tell me why.
Because I feel guilty all the time.
What do you feel guilty about?
Just being a bad parent, and like she's only got me at home, so I try not to fall out with her if I can.
Okay.
Because you know, I'm trying to be mum and dad, and you know, make up for things that have happened in the past. So I just feel like I can't be strong with her.
What sorts of things do you feel like you have to make up for?
For having a dad not there, she's all Kira's wanted, like myself, is to have the family together. And Kira'll still say now, all I want is a family day out with you and Daddy, and that's all Kira wants. So, you know, I feel like I'm overcompensating for what she hasn't got. So she doesn't know where she stands, I suppose.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think she knows where she stands.
She tries to, you know, rule the house and rule us, and try and... She's very grown up, and she tries to mother me sometimes.
She's quite a little mother. She mothers Aaron, doesn't she?
She
as
does.
well?
She mothers Aaron a lot.
Yeah. And she's quite adult in the way she argues, and the way she fights, and the way she shouts. She's almost like a teenager.
That's right.
When you give her attention, do you give her more attention when she's doing things that are lovely, or do you think you give her more attention when she's doing things that aren't?
That it aren't.
Right. Would you say, therefore, that she is more likely to carry on doing the things that she shouldn't do, because at least that's a way for her to get your attention?
Yeah.
And less likely to do the lovely things? Cool.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. What do you think you could be doing differently that might start to shift that imbalance?
Give her more praise and that for the things that she is doing good.
Do you find that easy?
No.
No.
I find it difficult to do that.
Because you're really good at praising Aaron. I've seen it a lot. You're really great at it. You're loving with him. You're really warm. There's lots of good boy. But Kira, it doesn't seem to be possible. And also you're very low, aren't you, at the moment? Very low in your mood.
I just want to be like a happy family, and it's just the family thing that I miss.
So this kind of separation is really quite unresolved emotionally for both of you. And it feels like it's just getting tipped right back into Kira. Have you felt this bad for a long time?
When we split up, I became depressed, and I just let her get away with things because I couldn't cope with myself, never mind Kira.
What do you think you need to do to adjust that balance?
Try and stand up to her.
I actually think it starts with you giving her more positive attention.
Right.
I think she craves your attention, and the only way she gets it is when she screams at you and hits you, and then you cry and she says sorry, and then you have a cuddle. And it's like this game that started being played out between the two of you.
I feel guilty because I haven't given her enough attention. It's always been negative.
When you communicate with her, your face is very flat and your voice is very flat. But when you communicate with Erin, you've got your face lights up and your voice is full of joy. And I
brought him up myself, and
he's not related to the past.
No, it's as though he's got nothing to do with the past. But Kira's very much a daddy's girl anyway. She thinks the world of her dad, and it annoys me a bit because I think, you know, I've done so much for you and you still side with your dad.
But do you think she thinks the world of her dad because she gets more positive stuff from him?
She does, yeah, without a doubt.
It feels to me like you're quite resentful of her behaviour.
I'm resentful because, to me, she thinks more of her dad than me. But Craig's very good, you know, he'll threaten and he'll say, look, if you do that again, you're not going to the park or you're not going to the party or something, and he will carry that out. But I've never been able to do that, and that used to cause a lot of friction between me and Craig then, because he was saying one thing and I was saying the other. You know, even after Craig had stopped her from going to a party or something, she'd still go and give kisses and hugs to her dad and not me.
Children feel the most secure in relationships when they know
where they stand.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you've had a terribly hard time, and I think you're very, very sad. And I think you feel very on your own and you feel like you failed. But I think it's destroyed your sense of belief in yourself as a mother to Kira.
Yeah.
And I actually think that you could be a fantastic mother to Kira, and changing your mothering and your relationship with her could be the best thing that would ever happen to her in her life.
I feel awful that I haven't given her any love.
Have a cry, it's alright.
It's me thinking she was my enemy and she's not.
She's not your enemy. She loves you so much. I think she's very worried about you.
It's day 2 in the house of Tiny Tearaways, and Dr. Tanya Byron confronts 3 new sets of parenting problems. Mike and Sue Fallon have come to the house because their 4.5-year-old daughter Emma is terrified of animals. And her anxiety is beginning to transfer to her younger sister Sophie. Yesterday, Tanya saw the full extent of her phobia.
Stop it now!
Lone parent Paula McLeod is at the end of her tether with her 6-year-old daughter Kira. She's desperate to put an end to her violent and hurtful behaviour.
Stop it!
Which regularly drives Paula to tears.
Give it a try.
3-year-old Erin Scott refuses to eat anything other than baby formula oat porridge mixed with fruit puree. Single mum Bridget follows a strict timetable for Erin's mealtimes. Breaking this routine to bring about change in Erin's eating habits has resulted in Erin refusing to eat her last 3 meals at all. The issue is complicated by the fact that Erin was born with Down syndrome.
Hello.
Still to come.
All I could think about it wasn't for me that I was going to die, it was for my girls. And they weren't going to help me about. They weren't going to have no money.
Bridget and 3-year-old Erin are practicing their biting exercises Tanya showed them earlier.
Now what we have to do, we have to get Erin to chew. So you have to go like this. We're going to eat like this, look. Because Erin hates using her teeth. So we have to show her how we can use our teeth. Okay? Go on, Erin. Your turn. That's it. That's it, with your crisp in your mouth. There's a distinctive bite there. Good girl! Yay! Woo, 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 woo! Ooga, 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 ooga. Good girl! There's definitely a bite taken there, wasn't there? Good girl. You didn't? Oh, you'll have to do it again, Erin.
I couldn't.
Oh, you'll have to do it again, Erin.
Because I was eating crisps.
Yay! Oh, I say, missus. Where did that one go?
Oh, come.
Following Tanya's advice, Bridget Scott is encouraging Erin to drink from a beaker rather than a bottle.
Erin's turn. Beep, beep. Hooray! Good girl.
Sometimes do you
Earlier,
feel
Tanya
that
set
you've got
Kira
mummy
an
there
exercise to make clay models of her
and
family
daddy there,
with speech bubbles and
and
symbols
yours-
to explain whether they're happy
Let's take
or
Erin out
sad.
for a minute.
Kira has brought the models she made earlier to the quiet room to show Tanya.
Do Mummy and Daddy live together?
No.
Why don't they live together? Why don't?
Because they fell out with each other.
Because they fell out with each other. If we've got Mummy over here and Daddy over here because they're not together anymore, where do you think you are? Where do you put yourself? Where does Kira go?
In the middle.
In the middle. But you're in the middle of cross Daddy and crying Mummy. So what does that make Kira feel like?
Sad.
I'm sad. Because you're stuck right in the middle. What could help Kira not say I'm sad, but say I'm happy?
By sharing Mum and Daddy.
By sharing Mum and Daddy. And how could you share Mum and Daddy?
By sometimes when I go with Daddy and sometimes when I go with Mummy.
And that could be okay, you could still feel happy. Sometimes when you're with Mummy, what do you say? Tell me some of the other things you say, you and Mummy. Some of the sad things. Do you say this one? I'm cross? I heard you say I'm cross to Mummy yesterday. So if we put I'm cross, do you sometimes say to Mummy I don't like you? Let's put that one in. Do you sometimes say to Mummy I'm sad? Put that one in. And how does it make you and Mummy feel?
Sad.
Sad, so you got a big tear there, yeah? Why do you sometimes shout at Mummy and get cross with her?
Because she gets cross with me and she shouts at me.
Do you think you and Mummy are friends? Are you friends all the time? When are you not friends?
When it's nights and weekends.
At nights and weekends, what do you do? When you're not friends, what happens?
She puts me in my bedroom.
And you have a fight. What do you and Mummy need to say to each other more to feel not like that, but to feel like that? To get that one and to get rid of that one, what do you need to say to each other more?
I love you.
So we take out I don't like you and we say I love you. Does Mummy say I love you, Kira, enough times?
Yeah.
Does she? Even when she's cross? So does she say I love you, Kira, all the time? Would you like her to say it more? Do you say I love you, Mummy, all the time?
Would you like to say it to her more? So, if you want to show someone you love them, how can you show them? What sorts of things can you do?
Say I'm happy and I love her and a kiss and a cuddle.
Kiss and a cuddle. Would you like more kisses and cuddles with Mummy? So if you and Mummy kissed and cuddled more, do you think you would say, I'm cross, I don't like you, less and less? Yeah? Why don't we try that out? Why don't we see if you just go up to Mummy as often as you can and say, Mummy, let's have a kiss and a cuddle, and see what happens. Do you want to do that now? Okay, come on then. Let's see. Come over here, Kira.
Please, Mummy, will you come here, please?
Let's see if it works. Shall we see if it works? Go on.
Mum, please, can I have a cuddle and a kiss?
Of course you can! Oh, my biggest girl. Oh, love you so much. Love you, honey.
What do you want to say back when Mummy says I love you? What do you want to say?
I'm happy.
How are you? Oh, I'm happy too. Love you so much.
So Kira, what are we going to do more of with Mummy? What are we going to get you and Mummy doing more of every day?
Hugging kisses.
We're going to start practicing now.
Yeah. Well, love you. You're such a big girl.
Come here.
Your mum's girl.
Brilliant, fantastic.
Tanya takes Mike and Sue Fallon to the consultation room to discuss an issue that she believes may be linked to their overprotectiveness with their daughters Emma and Sophie.
I wanted to talk to you because I felt I hadn't really talked to you today, and I've spent a lot of time with the other mums, and as you're probably aware, it's a house with some very distinct and really quite big problems. But I did want to be hyper kind of analytical and suggest some things that I think we could work on tomorrow. But I wanted to start with a question, which was, how comfortable are you with the notion that maybe this is a learnt behaviour that might have come from you? Because I'm not sure how you're feeling about that. And
we've asked ourselves that, haven't we? We've been asking ourselves that question.
I really felt like by last night, I really felt that,
I suppose we're a bit uncertain.
Tell me what you felt. It's important. It's important.
Well, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it was like it was your fault and you'd done something sort of bad that
But I kind of, a big word hit me last night, and that was protection. I kind of felt there's a protection element.
The area I do see something in is the area of being protective. And I see that not on a daily basis in interaction, but I just see that when either one of your daughters gets a bit upset or a bit anxious, that your natural instinct is to just try and take the pain away and make everything better. You don't want them to feel pain because it's dark and it's horrible, and I can see that you are absolutely resolute as a mother that it will not, my girls will not experience that. And and I'll tell you something, don't apologise. I respect you for that hugely.
You know, I thought I was going to die last year, and all I could think about, it wasn't for me that I was going to die, it was for my girls, and they were going to have me about. But they were going to have no money.
That's a very, very bad place to be. That's a very, very bad place.
It was very dark.
Oh, absolutely.
Very dark.
Can you tell me a little bit about the breast cancer? When you got the diagnosis, was it a shock? I mean,
it was out of the blue. I felt a lump, basically. Just found it. You were away at the weekend, in the middle of the night, and I just thought, oh, what's this? I just found a lump. And I thought, oh. So anyway, you came back and I said, I found a lump. So we, phoned the doctors, blah, blah, got the doctors. He didn't actually think it was anything serious, so I had a 3-week appointment rather than a week appointment for the hospital.
That's hard.
Anyway, they did tests, didn't they? Went through a battery of tests that afternoon, which was pretty horrendous. And then we got the results a week later, which was the longest week of my life, I think, waiting for that result. And then we got the result last September. And in fact, a year ago today, I was having my second chemo. You know, you remember dates just like that.
Absolutely.
So a year ago today, I was having, my second chemo and being very, very ill.
And it was an absolute shock.
I remember saying, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I've got 2 small children, I can't die. You know, so I'm trying to protect the kids, I suppose, from everything. I'm trying to protect them from my illness too.
Do you give me permission to look at that notion of overprotectiveness with you? The issue of protectiveness is in my head, but not in a way that makes me look at you and think, my goodness me, this mother needs some real major sorting out.
But isn't that okay? I mean, isn't that quite common anyway for just parents to be overprotective?
Completely.
And mums to be more overprotective than dads? So
Completely.
Isn't that okay to kind of have that feedback? That, I mean, I certainly feel that I'm overprotective at times.
I completely understand that maternal and that paternal instinct of just... But I suppose, for me, again, in my psychological head, I'm thinking of things like symptom substitution. She may conquer one phobia and her anxiety may just be parcelled off somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly because the two of you, it sounds to me, in your relationship, have been having great times, and then suddenly the trapdoor has kind of opened and it's like bang. And along come these 2 beautiful little girls who look at you with such love and devotion and dependence. And when you're kind of recovering from everything, you absolutely say to yourself, there is no way in the world you are going to feel this. But the truth is, they might one day. Life might deal them some blows. They might have to deal with some bad stuff in their life. And I suppose my concern with children who are so protected is, will they then have the skills to be able to face them in the way that you did? And I want this to be a positive experience, an experience that maybe can free you up a bit, for you to say, do you know what, these things have happened, but it's nothing to do with them. But you know how cruel life can be. You both do. I think it would be awful for your girls if they were so protected and cosseted, particularly Emma, because her personality isn't as robustly tough and out there as Sophie. I just sense that. It would be awful for them then if they had to deal with some big stuff in life, and actually show me an adult who hasn't at some stage in their life.
Absolutely. We've all got baggage of some kind or another, haven't we?
I must say, I do. It so makes sense now that I almost try too hard to get it right. You know, I'm constantly thinking, should I do that? Should I not do that? And I'm kind of...
You beat yourself up a lot about, oh God, I should have done this for the girls, or I did this, or I shouldn't, why did I do that?
Can I show you a bit of today?
Yeah.
And this is along the theme of protective parenting, okay? This is before you came into the house. Now, again, please understand, I'm looking with, a magnifying glass for things, but let's see.
That's all right. Just Florence.
She's
just interested in the food, that's all.
She knows there's food in.
Come up here then. Come up here. Oh, there we go.
Okay, what do you think I might have a bit of an issue with there?
Come up here then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Straight away.
And that is the kind of notion of protection, which is my child is distressed, so I pick her up. Absolutely, if there was a pit of alligators snapping at her heels.
Yeah.
But the message to an anxious child is, there is something to be anxious of.
Yeah.
And I do see that quite a lot. And I think it gets into this notion of, these girls have had a terrible year. They have seen their mum in a terrible state. We have tried very hard to hold it together. I don't want them to be upset anymore. And I completely understand that. But I suppose for me, at the end of this consultation, what I want to ask you to just to think about is it worth thinking a little bit more broadly about this notion of protectiveness, just more broadly in terms of, we can deal with the phobia, but when you have a child like Emma who is a bit of a chewer and a bit of, just a few anxious...
That's quite new,
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's from school.
I'd be so robust with that, and absolutely you don't do that.
Right, okay.
I'd be really like, get your hand out of your mouth. Right. We don't do that. Okay. Almost to the point of, I'd be really firm with that one.
Okay.
Because otherwise these little kind of anxiety-related tics become massive problems, and you'll never get the sleeve out of her mouth.
Yeah.
So do we think about it just from the point of view of how can we also look at ways in which both the girls, but particularly Emma, can be parented in a way that is all really good, but sometimes maybe is a bit overprotective and could pull back a bit. Just have a think about that.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Like a
It's bedtime at the house of Tiny Tearaways.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Mummy, say night.
Mummy needs to go to sleep.
Mummy, say night. Good girl. Good kiss.
Come on, give Mummy a kiss.
Well done.
Then you don't put that in.
Yeah, Mummy will put it in the bathroom.
With her children safely tucked up in bed, Bridget finds a quiet moment to record a video diary.
Today has been a much better day than yesterday. I had a little breakdown this morning, and Tanya was there to pick up the pieces and managed to, as usual, sum up exactly what was going on and why, you know, which was wonderful to have her here. Erin had refused to eat her breakfast this morning, and that upset me. Erin then turned out to be a complete star. She wanted this cup instead of her bottle, although I didn't actually offer her the bottle. But when she saw Tyler tootling around with his cup, although she had rejected hers, she then wanted hers. So time for me to accept that she is growing up and that I have been holding her back from doing so, and that I need a good slap, and I feel that I have been appropriately slapped, and now I won't hold her back anymore.
After the turmoil of last night's bedtime, things have gone much smoother for Mum Paula McLeod and her daughter Kira.
And I'm so happy. You've made me so proud of you today, you know. Happy. Thank you for being my big girl. Okay. Right. Love you. Good night, love you.
She's actually gone to bed singing tonight.
I beg your pardon?
She's actually gone to bed singing tonight.
Oh, bless her.
So lovely to hear. You know, hear her happy for a change.
There's always something.
It'd be great if I could get into bed at this time. Tanya was saying, you know, you're so lovely to the other children. You're giving Aaron a lot of attention, and you know, it's because I wasn't getting that from Kira. I found it hard to give as well.
Of course you do.
I was giving Aaron more attention because I was feeling loved from him.
Absolutely. I mean, I went through that when Tyler was hitting and kicking me and stuff. Erin was like my sanity. You know, my little sweetheart. They would still cuddle up with me.
Yeah.
You know.
Knowing that somebody still needs you. Yeah.
Totally understand that. Tyler would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, come upstairs, stand at my door and just go, I hate you. I mean, like, you know, you're not even awake. I mean, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you've been greeted by just this child from hell standing in the doorway going, I hate you. Or he'd just come in and pick up a book. I've just picked it up and threw it at me and it hit me in the head. The corner of the book hit me in the head. I hadn't done anything wrong. I was fast asleep.
Kira says some really nasty things to me. And like Tanya said, you know, I take it too personally. I take it as though it's an adult saying it to me.
Yeah, I know, you do.
When, you know, I've got to remember she's a 6-year-old and what she says she doesn't mean, you know. But I do take things personally like that, you know. I'm a very emotional person. And if she says she hates me and she wants a new mum,
you know, the reaction is when she says that is that I cry, and she likes seeing me upset because that's when she gets the attention.
Madness, isn't it? Bloody kids.
Tomorrow on the House of Tiny Tearaways.